The hits just keep on coming, and this episode was great. Man, Killua is a beast, and the camaraderie built amongst the others is just magnificent.
Hunter x Hunter, Episode 17, Trap in the Hole.
What hole?
Boy, and the hits just keep on coming. Well, hello, my brothers and sisters and prospective hunters of the Nerd Nation. I, as always, am Jim here to bring you another review on the fantastic and the wonderful and the just action-packed and the cliffhangerish tale of Hunter x Hunter 2011. Our last episode, of course, saw us with Gon ultimately getting Hisoka's tag from him, but then it being stolen from him, then Hisoka taking out the thief of his tag, and then returning the tags to him, and really Gon refusing to accept, and Hisoka just going and just gold-cocking his ass and saying, you know what, I'll keep you alive until you're a worthy enough opponent for me to kill. And I really kind of thought that was just very, very cool. But that's where things left off. And things pick up actually from a couple episodes back. We saw Killua. The first half of the episode is based and is primarily focused on him. A couple episodes ago, he was walking through the forest, and he knew somebody was, like, hunting him, somebody was, waiting for him to drop his guard, and kind of called him out, and nobody came out. So we hadn't seen him in a couple episodes. We go back to him now, and he's walking through, he's got his skateboard, just hands in his pockets like he always does, and, like just nonchalant and doesn't have a care in the world, right? Well, after you see the shit that this kid can do, and we only got a taste of it, back in Phase 3 when he was pulling hearts out and stuff. In this one, he goes in, and he calls out the guy who's hunting him, and it's this I guess a younger kid, but probably a teenager, still older than him. And then he's like, you know what, fine, you don't want to come out, I'll come to you. So he starts walking towards this kid, and the kid's kind of freaking, and I call him a kid, but he's probably a teenager, probably a couple years older than Killua, definitely bigger than him. And he's like, God, I'm gonna have to fight him. I gotta get his tag. And then you see why he's scared. He's scared because his brothers, I don't know if he means like brothers, like biological brothers or friends, like his homies, his brothers, brothers and sisters, that sort of thing. But at any rate, his companions, whatever you want to call them, I believe he referred to them as his brothers. He sees that them go creeping up. First of all, he's scared that, if he doesn't get the tag, they're going to be, mad at him. They do walk up. They kind of start some shit with him. They're like, why haven't you got it already? And he's like, well, I don't want to beat up a kid and this and that, And so then he goes up to Killua because he's got to act big now, He's got to go his big boy balls out. And he goes up to Killua and he's like, give me that tag. And Killua's he just starts kind of laughing, He says something to the effect of, you're nuts or whatever, And so he goes and boom, he kicks Killua, and Killua, hand still in his pocket, goes flying back, like 10, 20 feet, hits the ground, I love it, man. He goes, and it's so cool because I used to be in the martial arts and taekwondo, and he does, and this is hard to do. I used to have trouble doing it with my hands. He does a kip, they call it, and that's where you go and you as you're laying flat on your back, you kind of roll back, and then you arch your back and flip your legs, and your momentum carries you up and forward. I used to be able to do it back in the day, mind you, using my arms as well. He's got his hands in his pocket. He's just like pops right back up. Then what does he do? He pulls out of his pocket. He pulls this kid's tag out, and he's like, oh, $199. He's like, oh man, I thought it was funny as hell. So he wound up snaking the kid's tag or whatever. So then the other two brothers or whatever are like, okay, this is going to be, this is no ordinary kid, right? Get in formation. They all kind of get around and surround him, and he's just like, Killua's just like, what the hell? Okay. So Killua goes and does, and his target, I believe, is like his target is 199, I think it was, and the kid's was 198. That's what it was. So he goes and he figures that maybe 199 might be amongst them because they're all together and they were, issued one after another for the numbers. So he goes and he just does this badass move. Now, mind you, he's in the midst of three people and he just goes, disappears like up in the trees, we presume, I guess, whatever, with his fucking awesome ninja vanishing style that he's got. And then just appears behind one of the other kids, and his hand is all just cocked up and, just sharp like a knife, and he's got it to the dude's throat, and he's like, yeah, he's like, one move and I'll slit his throat, He just kind of touches him with his fingers. He's like, my fingers are sharper than knives. Just touches the dude's throat, and blood starts, coming out. And then he goes and he pulls that guy's tag. It's 197. And he's like, damn it, I never have the good luck, And he's like, what's your tag? Is it 199? And the other guy's just like, well, yeah. And he's like, give it to me. He throws it to him. Killua's now got all their tags, right? Holding the one by the neck or whatever. Then he goes and we see that there's another guy that's following him, the ninja guy. the bald ninja. I like to say that he looks like somebody from like Avatar, The Last Airbender. But anyway, he was kind of watching from the trees because one of his targets, we're presuming, is one of these kids, one of these 3 kids, or maybe Killua. I don't know. I'm assuming not though, because the other kid was hunting Killua. Anyway, Killua goes and keeps the tag. He needs 199, takes 197 and goes, throws it one way and throws 198 another way, bouncing them. And I mean, these things go flying, right? We go and we see the ninja dude run through the forest thinking he's tracking the right one. He gets into a clearing, grabs it. It's the wrong one. Killua sensed that he was there and switched them at the last second so he'd throw the wrong tag and the guy'd go chasing like a dog after the wrong one. I tell you, I can't wait to see more of this kid, man. He just really is cool. And it's because he's just like like an adorable little kid with his skateboard. He just looks so cute, But he's just a fucking death machine, man. I love it. So that's the first half of the episode, which was great. Killua winds up coming away, obviously, with the tag he needs, and then goes and throws the other 2, and he tells the 2, hey, you got 3 days left, to find him, have fun, right? And just walks away. So he's good to go. And then the second half of the episode takes us to, it's the final day now, and there's 1 day left, and it's Kurapika and Leorio, and they have had no luck. Since they ran into Hisoka 4 days ago, they haven't found anybody, and of course he still needs to go and find Panzu to get her tag, or obviously find 3 other ones. They haven't encountered anybody, right? So they go and they talk about it, and they agree that they're going to go back to where the boat's going to pick them up tomorrow. Maybe there's some others that have completed already and are just kind of hanging out in the area, and they wind up running into Gon. And Gon says, hey, I'll help, blah, 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 and they wind up figuring that the only way they can track this Panzu, without having to go, of course, and take out 3 other people, is they get Gon to go high up in the trees and to go for the scent, because this Panzu uses like chemicals and different drugs and stuff like that to drug people. So Gon winds up tracking the scent, old freaking Scooby-Doo over there, man. He's like a hound dog with the scent. His eyes are great. Everything. His senses are all just really, really good, at least that's what it seems like to me. And he can just sort of pick out a lot of details and things that other people might not be able to. So nonetheless, they wind up tracking this Panzu to a cave, right? And Leorio, I thought this was a great interaction between the 3 of them, and you see in just a few short days how good of friends they've become. Leorio goes and tells Kurapika and Gon, like, listen, I'm going to go in there, and, if I'm not out in 30 minutes or whatever, just go ahead and go back to the starting line, right? And Kurapika's like, no, that's not going to happen. If you're not out in 30 minutes, we're coming in after you. And he's like, no, don't worry about it. I appreciate all your help and this and that, but and it's a male pride thing. It's a pride thing. I probably feels still bad about what he did, costing them the 50 hours in phase 3, and I think feels like he's the weak link, the oddball, the fifth wheel, whatever you want to call him, And so he's like, just don't worry about it. I'll be fine. And it's that pride thing. So then I love it because Kurapika's like, not having it or whatever, but he's just kind of like, fine, whatever. He goes to walk off, and then Gon's like, no, we're coming in after you. We're all friends. We're going to see this through, type of thing. And I really liked that. I thought it was a great heartwarming moment amongst these 3, and just shows how much something tumultuous and crazy like this can actually bring people together, So nonetheless, they wind up, getting together, and of course everybody's good to go. Now, Leorio goes into the actual cave, and he winds up finding this guy Bourbon, the snake charmer guy or whatever, and he finds Panzu, but Panzu says, no, you can't leave, right? Well, he's, what the hell? Why can't I leave? And we don't find out. Then the next thing we know is we hear him yelling from outside the cave, and Gon and Kurapika wind up coming in there to find him, only to find out that he's been bitten by a bunch of vipers. Gon starts helping him, trying to suck out the poison, whatever, keep him alive, and ultimately get him bandaged up. And Panzu goes and says, no, you can't leave. And we find out that kind of end the cliffhanger of the whole thing is you can't leave because this guy Bourbon set a trap that if you try to leave, all these vipers, hundreds of them that are coming down the cave, will bite you and kill you, right? So, okay, that's fine. Well, so they go and they offer to give Bourbon all their tags just so he, whatever, just let us leave, right? And she's like, she's like, it's no good. He's dead. So whatever happened to this guy, he wound up expiring in the whole process after he set this trap. And now they're caught only one way in, one way out of this cave. And Gon, Kurapika, Leorio, and this Panzu are all caught in there. And that's how it leaves. It leaves off on a cliffhanger. So I thought it was a great episode. It's just a lot of fun. And it's really neat to see some of the things. But my episode question is really, I guess, thoughts on Killua. we've kind of done that a couple times before. But really what I would like is, to thoughts on how close Leorio and Kurapika and Gon especially have become. And even Killua too, because even after he's, doing everything and whatnot, he's like, that was boring. And after he takes out the tags from those guys, and then he says, man, I wonder what Gon's up to, So really, I just kind of want to know what your thoughts are on the camaraderie and the teamwork that's been built amongst them. Leave your answer to that question in the comments down below. Feel free to hit the thumbs up, the like button if you should think that I deserve it, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. We will look forward to catching all of you in the next one, Nation.
Nothing is true. Everything is permitted. Which means you should go over and subscribe to my other channel and check me out on Facebook and Twitter as well.